Now, the moment we talk about numbers, have you observed something that numbers are in queue? They are always in a line, one number after another. Like, how do you stand when you go to a ticket counter or you go to watch a movie and you go to ticket counter to buy it? Or you have gone for something and now when you are standing in a queue, so how do you stand? One person after another. So you look at any person, there would be one person in front of them and one person behind them. So that's how the queue is. In a very similar way, numbers are also in queue, one number after another. So you consider any number, let's say you consider 3. 3 has two before it and 4 after it, right? You think of 5. 5 has 4 before it and 6 after it, right? Think of 6. 6 has 5 before it and 7 after it. So every number has another number before it and another number after it. So now the question is with regard to the numbers, number is who is before and who is after? Which number comes before and which number comes after? Now, this concept of before and after is given a mathematical term called successor and predecessor. Now, successor and predecessor. So, successor term is it's for after numbers. That is the number which is present after the given number. Similarly, the term used for before number, that is the number which is present before the specific number, given number, that's called predecessor. The word pre means before. Okay, so let's understand the concept of successor and predecessor using this example where people are standing in a queue. So here, if you look at this guy wearing blue pants, it's standing after this lady, right? So basically, for this lady, which has wore a white shirt, so this boy is standing after this girl, right? So this boy is the successor of this girl, right? So this boy wearing blue trousers, blue pants is the successor of this girl, right? And if you look at this lady, this is also standing after this boy, right? So it comes after this boy. So this is also the successor of this boy, right? But now, if you look at this boy and this lady, then this boy comes before this lady, which is talking on mobile phone. So this boy is before this lady, which is talking on the phone. So this boy wearing blue pants is the predecessor of this girl, right? So it means this boy is the successor of this girl, this lady, and boy himself is the predecessor of this lady, right? Because it comes before this lady, but it comes after this lady. So for this lady, it is the successor, he is the successor, and for this lady, he is the predecessor, right? So if you um, if I ask you who is the successor of this boy, which is holding his phone in his hand, which is the successor of who is the successor of this boy, then this little boy is the successor of this boy, right? Because he is standing after him. And if I ask you who is the predecessor of this boy, then this girl talking on phone that is before this boy is the predecessor of this boy, right? So So let's now look at the successor and predecessor of numbers. So let's look at these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now, looking at these numbers, you can very easily say what is successor of 5. Successor of 5 would be 6, right? So successor of 6 would be 7. Successor of 7 would be 8. Successor of 8 would be 9, right? So very easily you can say looking at the sequence of numbers, right? Similarly, you can say that the predecessor of 5 is 4, the predecessor of 4 is 3, the predecessor of 3 is 2, the predecessor of 2 is 1, and so on. But what about finding the successor and predecessor of a bigger number? Let's say if I ask you what is the successor of 400? So how exactly do we find successor and predecessor of a number? Because it's not possible for us to keep writing the entire sequence of numbers. So the simple tip is that whenever you have to find successor, just add 1 to that number, because the moment you add 1, you are actually going to the next number. So if you add um, 1 to 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. So you are actually reaching to the next number, right? Similarly, whenever you have to find the predecessor, subtract 1. So if you reduce 1 from a number, you will go to the before number. Okay, so let's consider examples of bigger number, say 72. So if you have to find the successor and predecessor of 72, how do you find it? So the successor would be 72 plus 1, that is 73, and the predecessor would be 72 minus 1, that is 71. Okay, so we can say that 71 is the predecessor of 72 and 73 is the successor of 72, right? So if you look at another example, say get bigger number 4961. If you have to find the successor, then you just have to add 1 to it. So adding 1 to 4961, you will get 4962. This is a successor of 4961, and the predecessor would be 4961 minus 1, that's 4960. So this is a successor, and this number is the predecessor of 4961. So in this way, uh, we can find the successor and predecessor of natural numbers, sorry, numbers. So when we actually start looking at the successor and predecessor of natural and whole numbers, we conclude certain points. For example, we conclude that successor of all natural numbers are natural numbers. So you think of any natural number, their successors will be natural numbers, because natural numbers starts from 1, okay, and starting from 1, every natural number will have a successor, right, which is a natural number, because 1 to infinity all numbers are natural. Okay, similarly successor of all whole numbers are whole numbers. So whole numbers would start from 0. So successor of 0 is 1, successor of 1 is 2, 2 successor is 3, and so on. Similarly, when we look at the predecessor of all natural numbers are natural numbers except 1. Why? Because the predecessor of 1 is 0, and 0 is not a natural number, right? So 1 is the only exception. Except 1, all other natural numbers have predecessors, and the predecessors are all natural numbers. What about predecessor of whole numbers? Do you think predecessor of whole numbers would be whole number? No. That is because when you look at 0, what would be the predecessor of 0? What exists before 0? Now, before 0 exists the negative number. Now, about which you will study later in your higher classes. But for now, you should just know that before 0 comes the negative number. Now, I'll give you one example to prove that why negative numbers exist before 0. Let's say you have 10 rupees in your wallet and you go to the market, you buy a pencil for 2 rupees, okay? So, how much is left with you? 8 rupees is left with you. You again buy another pencil for 2 rupees. Again, you will lose 2 rupees. And how much you are left with? You are left with 6 rupees. So, in this way, keep buying almost 5 pencils. So, you spend the entire 10 rupees. So, what's left with you? Zero. You do not have anything. But now, let's say you still want to buy a candy. Now, in order to buy candy, you do not have money now because you are having now a zero in your wallet, right? Now, what do? You go to the shopkeeper and you tell him that give me the candy and write it in your keep a record of it, like keep the record of a bill or keep bill with you. I'll return you money later. So basically, what you did, your balance um, your balance was like a positive number because you had some money in your wallet, but now you do not have any money in your wallet. And on top of that, you have taken a loan of 2 rupees from the shopkeeper. So overall, that means that your balance is negative. So your balance is minus 2. Now you do not have money, plus you owe money to somebody. You have to return money to somebody else. So that means you are having a negative balance. So that is why we say that before 0 are negative numbers. Negative numbers, they are not whole numbers. So therefore, predecessor of whole numbers are not are whole numbers, but except 0 because 0 has no predecessor. Thank you.